Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I'm Sumit Bansal, and in today's video, I'm going to show you the new and improved checkbox feature in Excel. This was released a few months ago and it would eventually be released for all the Microsoft Excel 365 users. So if you already do not have it, you will have it if you're using Microsoft 365. Now there are some amazing things you can do with the checkbox, such as creating interactive lists or interactive charts, and I'll show you everything that you need to know in this video. So let's get started. Let me first show you how to insert a checkbox in Excel and create an interactive list. So here I have these names and I want to insert checkboxes in column B so that I can check the checkbox and mark that this person has completed the training. So to insert a checkbox, I would select the cell, then go to the Insert tab, and here in Cell Controls group, click on the checkbox icon. And when I do that, it is going to insert a checkbox in the cell. If you want to insert checkbox in more than one cell in a range, then you select all the cells, again go to the Insert tab and then click on the checkbox icon, and it is going to insert checkboxes in all these cells. Now, when you insert a checkbox in a cell, it is going to show you the checkbox, but in the backend, it is going to put the value false in the cell. And when you mark the checkbox as completed or checked, then it is going to change the value to true. So in the backend in the cell, when a checkbox is checked, the value is true. And when it is not checked, the value is false. Another thing to know is that this checkbox is like any other text that you have in the cell. So it is part of the cell. So if you move the cell, if you hide the cell, if you filter it, if you resize it, all these things would also happen with the checkbox. Now, if you want to delete these checkboxes from these cells, you can just select them and hit the delete key. But one important thing to note here is that this does not truly removes the checkbox. So while you do not see the checkboxes, if I hover my cursor over these cells, you'll see that the checkbox is still there. And if I click on any of the cells, it is going to bring back the checkbox. Now, I don't know why Excel team has done it like this, but if you want to truly remove the checkboxes from these cells, you need to select all these cells that have the checkbox and then go to the home tab and in clear option, click on clear all. And by doing this, you will be able to remove the checkbox. But if you only hit the delete key, it is going to not show you the checkbox in the cell, but it would still be there in the backend and you can bring it back by clicking on it. Another thing to know is that a checkbox, as far as I have understood, is like formatting. So when you apply checkbox in the cell, while the value of the cell would be a true or a false, the formatting of the cell is such that you see a checkbox which is checked if the value is true and unchecked if the value is false. So when you are removing the checkbox, just deleting the checkbox by using the delete key doesn't work. You need to remove the formatting as well. This is why we need to come here and click on clear all, which is going to remove the content of the cell as well as the formatting. So let me press Ctrl Z to bring back these checkboxes. Now let me show you a couple of conditional formatting rules that you can use to make this list a lot more interactive and a lot better. Here again, I have the same list and I have these checkboxes. Some of these are checked. And what I want to do is use conditional formatting to apply a green color or any other color to the row where the checkbox is checked, indicating that this person has completed the training. And I also want to cross off their name, so apply a strike through format. So to do that, I'm going to use conditional formatting. So I would first select this entire range, go to the home tab, and here in conditional formatting, I'm going to click on new rule. This is going to open the new formatting rule dialog box. And here I'm going to choose this option, use a formula to determine which cells to format. Now here I'm going to give a formula, and then what Excel does is it goes to each cell and assess whether the value returned by that formula for that cell is a true or a false value. So this formula, whatever I specify here, needs to return a true or false, and each cell is analyzed based on this formula. If it returns true, then the cell gets highlighted with the specified color and formatting. And if it returns false, then the formatting is not applied. So in this case, the formula that I'm going to use is equal to $B2, and that is the formula. And the reason for this is that what I'm trying to do is for each row, see whether the checkbox is checked or not. Now, if the checkbox is checked, the value in the cell would be true. If the checkbox is not checked, the value in the cell is going to be false. So when it is analyzing, let's say this row, which is row number 2, it goes to cell A2 and it checks whether this formula is going to return true or false for it. So what it is going to do is see cell B2. Because I have locked the column, it is going to see cell B2 even if it is analyzing cell A2. And when it is analyzing cell B2, it is anyway going to see B2. But when it moves down, it's analyzing cell A3, it is going to see the value in cell B3. So if B2 is true, then this entire row gets highlighted. If B2 is not true, then formatting is not applied to the entire row. So this is my formula. Now I'm going to apply the formatting. So I click on the format button. Here in the fill tab, I'm going to select the color, which is, let's say, green color. You can choose any color you want. And then I would click, actually I would also apply the strike through format. So I would go to font, and here I would check the strike through option. So now these two formatting options would be applied, which is fill color and strike through format, to all the cells where the checkbox is checked. See what happens when I click OK and I click OK again. All these cells, all these rows where the checkbox is checked, the color is applied and the names get stricken off. A strike through format is applied to the names. So this makes your list a lot more interactive. As you're doing it, it is dynamic. When you check a checkbox, it is going to dynamically apply the formatting as well. So it makes your checklist look a lot better, especially when you're creating dashboards. Now let me show you a couple of formulas you can use with checkboxes to extract useful information from it. Here again, I have the names along with the checklist where I have checked some boxes indicating that these people have completed the training. Now I want to count the total number of people who have completed the training, which means I want to count the total number of checkboxes that have been checked. And this is very easy now because I know that any cell that has a checked checkbox would have the value true, and any cell that has a checkbox that has not been checked would have the value false. So here I can use a formula here, which would be a very simple count if formula, where this is my range and my criteria here would be I only want to count cells that have the value true, and that's it. Now when I hit enter, it gives me 4, and you can see when I change these values, when I check more boxes, this is going to automatically update because it is linked to this range. So this is again a very simple use case where you can quickly count the number of checkboxes. Another thing you can do is you can filter your dataset based on these checkboxes. For example, I want to quickly extract a list of people who have not completed the training. So I can use the filter function, and the filter function would take an array, which would be this, and then it needs a condition. So it's asking me, what should I include? What would be the criteria here? And the criteria here would be that these range of cells would be equal to false. So I would just type false here. And now when I hit enter, it gives me the names of those people who have not completed the training. You can see Gloria Hans, Ruth Bailey, which is this, and then this name, and then this name, this name. The great thing here is if I come here and I change these checkboxes, this is going to automatically update. See what happens? This name here, Albert Hopes. When I uncheck this, the name appears in the list because the formula is updating in real time. So this is again a great way where you have a huge checklist or task list or any kind of checkboxes that you have used. Then you can quickly extract only specific records where the checkbox is done or the checkbox is not done. In this case, if I want to get a list of people who have completed the training, then I would come here and I would say true, and it would give me the names of all the people who have completed the training. So you can use these checkboxes very easily with formulas because the checkboxes is nothing but a true or a false value in the backend. Now let me show you how to create an interactive chart using these checkboxes. Let me first show you the end product of how this interactive chart would look like, and then I will show you how to create it. So here I have this chart, and I have the years in x-axis, and I have these lines which indicate company A value, company B or company C profit values or sales values. Now what I want to do is make this interactive so that user can come here and check the companies that should be shown on the chart. So for example, if I only want to see company A, I can uncheck company B and C and those lines would disappear. Or if I want to see company A and B, I can check these and only those two lines would come here. So let me show you how I've created this. Let me remove the chart. Let me remove everything else. What I've done is I have, to begin with, I had data something like this, and I wanted to create an interactive chart with this. So the first thing I would do is I would insert the checkboxes. So I came here and I inserted the checkboxes by selecting these three cells, going to the insert tab, and then clicking on the checkbox icon. Now I know that in the backend, when the checkbox is checked, this is going to be value true, else it is going to be value false. So what I'm going to do is, using this data, I'm going to create another data set which is dependent on these checkboxes. So if this is checked, then the data would be populated here and it would then be mapped in the chart, else it would not be. So what I'm going to do is copy this data, paste it here, but remove all these values because I want these values to be dependent on the checkbox. So what I'm going to do is use a very simple if function where I would say if this value, and this would either be a true or a false, so I can just use the cell reference. If this value, which means the value in cell B1 is true or false, then based on it, give me either this cell or give me not available. And when you use not available, that is not plotted on the chart. And in this case, I do not want this to be relative. I want to lock this. But because I'm going to copy it for 3 columns, what I'm going to do is only lock the row. So I'm going to do B$1, which means that when I copy this formula in cells in column C or D, then it is going to move with and consider these checkboxes, but it is not going to change the row when I copy it down. So see what happens when I hit enter, it gives me not available here, and I can copy it for all these cells, and everything gives me not available because these checkboxes are not checked. But when I check this box, it is going to give me the values of company A here, but the remaining two would continue to be not available. So if I now use this to plot my chart, so I select this range, I go to the insert tab, and here let me insert a line chart. It only shows me one line, but if I come here and I select company B checkbox, it is going to fill this range with the numbers, and this is going to get plotted in the chart. So now I've created an interactive chart which is based on the checkbox, and this is possible because the checkbox would have a value true or false, and that is being used through a formula to select the data that should be plotted on the chart. So these are some use cases that you can use with these checkboxes. This is a new feature in Excel, and I think it is extremely powerful. And these are only a few use cases I've shown you, but you can try many more things. You can make it very advanced as well. If you are creating dashboards, then checkboxes can be very, very useful. And I would love to know if you guys have had chance to use these checkboxes, and if you have tried any creative ways to use them, please let me know in the comment section. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, if you're liking these videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.